and they both lived happily ever after. Anyways, let's do this podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the Professional Interns Podcast. It is a comedy advice podcast that is so funny. Noah and I didn't do it last week. Noah, how's it going?
You know, I was doing well until you said we weren't doing it last week. That was
Yeah, that was my bad. So I think we got a lot of new eyeballs and I guess earballs, a lot of fresh earballs on the podcast in the past few weeks.
Why would that be, Jamie?
I'll be uploading bangers to my YouTube.
Let's go.
Welcome. And I think, they say, like, when you get the opportunity, you got to run with it. Mm-hmm. I think we did the exact opposite.
You got the opportunity. You said, I'm going to get sick with a certain virus for the next week and a half.
Well, COVID is not real, so let's get that out there.
I took horse medication, and it really helped with the symptoms, actually. I don't know.
Look, I got my COVID vaccines for sport, not that I believed in them.
I got it because they threatened to fire me from my job. That is why I got it.
No, I don't even know if I got COVID or anything. I felt like death for like, do you know the cycle where it's like, oh, my throat is feeling pretty sore. It's like at the end of a day.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is going to be the next 6 days of my life. That's what happened to me. And I think we missed one 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And that one I think was just a scheduling error. You know?
That was just us sucking. That was us being bad at the job.
Your favorite bi-weekly podcast. I know there's reasons everyone does these bi-weekly.
Yeah, should we batch film these? Yeah, probably. Could we? Absolutely. Do we? Haven't yet.
No, it's tough. We keep saying we're going to, but I think it's undersold. How much this takes out of me, way harder than a 9 to 5. Recording one of these, way harder than a 9 to 5.
Oh, you guys wouldn't even believe how hard it is to do this job that makes us negative dollars. We are in the hole.
Banter we put in to get this thing going. It's just,
And it takes a physical toll, too, because I be scrolling through the email to load up those questions, and then I have to move them into a Google Doc, and my poor little limp wrists can't type.
Dude, I have to sit here and then play video games, and then I have to get on here and think of funny topics to talk about.
Yeah, so, it's hard to be me.
Yeah, Ninja would know this is a tough. Well, I don't know if it was him. I don't remember.
No, it was Ninja with like the worst take ever.
The worst take said that streaming is the hardest job you could have, harder than anyone's 9 to 5.
I think there's merit in the statement that like it is a hard job, but I don't want to go as far to say that it's like a harder job. Like I'd say maybe it's on par. Like there's a trade-off. Like being a streamer or any internet personality, like you lose your privacy. You have this like weird, like very like burnout driven job, but also you're radically overpaid usually.
Not if you're us. I'm sitting here working the day job and squeezing together money to buy the new video game that dropped. I'll tell you right now. So I went into taxes. It's tax season, Jamie. Mm-hmm. It's tax season. I know you don't do them because you file 0 with the IRS. You don't.
No.
Yeah. You haven't filed for years. They're
Look,
after
if you're going to lay off people at the IRS, I'm not going to pay them.
Nobody's coming for me.
If they start hiring at the IRS, all right, we'll amend some stuff. But.
You're saying we're shrinking the government? They ain't coming for me. It's
Good luck finding me. I died in 2002.
I haven't filed since I got employed at 18. They don't know I exist at the IRS.
I've heard of a person who did that. But you're saying the taxes.
My last job paid me in Kohl's cash. I don't file. That doesn't come off in the deductible. It's filing taxes. And then she's like, oh, so how did your little business go? One, I was like, not a little business. This lady's seen my YouTube analytics every year or my income. And it's like a K. Like I'm not making that much. And she goes, so how you still doing your little business? I was like, little business? Hold up.
It's a respectable side hustle.
I pay you to do these taxes. Don't call my business little. I earned $600 this year, spent $800 in video games. Write it all off.
Oh, I see you're still doing your little business too, honey, huh? Why don't you start typing?
Why don't you open up TurboTax already? Come on, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And I was like,
I know you free file.
I was like, damn, my little business. And I actually did the numbers. The worst part, okay, so I have filed negative on that little business for like, since I've started it. Mm-hmm. And she goes, I'll be honest, you're 4 years negative. You should probably take a profit. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, if you don't take a profit, they don't love that this is your job. And I was like, okay. And then I didn't write things off, so I would take a profit in my personal business. Dude, I took like a $75 profit. I made negative money running that. I made negative money. You subtract all the video games and this fancy camera I bought, lost money. Brutal. One day it'll pay off. One day.
Yeah.
No.
Totally.
No.
I think I legally still have a business registered for
that's right. Yeah.
my COVID project. So I was selling I got really into like making clothes during the pandemic. So
I thought you were going to something else. Yeah.
No, I did like weird. I didn't know what I was doing, but I did like weirdly register a business because I wanted like to avoid paying taxes on buying like blank items. I forget. Bulk. It was like a normal thing, but I just had to register it.
Yep.
And I thought I closed it down. I get a letter from them every like 6 to 8 months. They're like, dude, you haven't told us anything.
You owe
us
money.
I'm like, this thing's dead. I'm like, it's made $0. I lost thousands on this venture. How do we put this one to bed?
I had the same one of my my management company that I just never started. I made a nice website. I got a logo. I made some nice mock-ups. I spent probably close to $1,000 on it. I hired some people to write some blogs before AI was a thing. And I never ended up even getting my first client. But that was $1,000 down the trash. And I do still get letters from the Business Bureau that's like, you re-upping this? Did you file taxes this year? And I'm like, don't look at it. right in the trash. Maybe they'll come after me. Maybe they won't. Maybe I'll re-up it one day and I'll owe them probably $200 in back business filings. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like filing fees.
Yeah, it's like $80 a year. I'm like, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, for a comedy advice podcast, we sure do talk a lot about like professional stuff.
Professional interns, Jamie. Professional interns.
I was mentioning this before we started filming, but I'll say it again. In hindsight, professional interns,
not a good name.
Probably bad name. I thought it was really clever because I saw the whole logo. Like I had that whole mental thought, and I was like, yeah, we'll do this whole thing. Me and Noah were interns together. It's kind of funny. It's got like a juxtaposition to it. We're professional at like the temporary job. It's a good laugh.
It's a good bit.
Search professional interns on Google, like professional interns Spotify. It doesn't come up. It gives you like proper like LinkedIn podcasts. That's not us. Are you kidding me?
No. This is the furthest thing from a actual professional advice podcast. I don't know. Maybe we should start giving some professional help. Write in your business ideas, and we will rip them up.
We actually do have a half business idea. I don't know. It's kind of formal. They're talking about work in this one.
One of our questions.
One of the questions. In one of our questions, yeah. And I think it's a pretty good one.
Do people know they can write into us at ProfessionalInternsPodcast@gmail.com?
I'm not sure actually if we've ever mentioned it. It's the first thing in our notes every time is to promote the email, which is ProfessionalInternsPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And hardly do we ever do it. But just because we're so tired from this hard job. Plus, we actually have second jobs because we both upload other stuff too.
We both upload other stuff, and we both have day jobs, kind of. You're freelance. Okay, honestly, how many hours do you spend freelancing a week? If you were to like,
it's so hard to tell you. This is probably like every 8 months I go down this rabbit hole of like, am I working all the time or never? It's not clear. I probably work less than 40 hours a week. Probably it gets a little hazy because there's a lot of unpaid hours. Like if I'm messaging somebody like a potential client, I'm gonna pay for that. So it gets a little unclear.
Do you file that under yourself taxes?
Yeah, no, that's a whole ass. I got that thing down legally.
Let's go. Do you so I am getting money back in my taxes because it's tough. It's tough. Homeowner, you can write off the interest. It's a wild world we live in. Okay.
I just need to update the viewers. Homeowner is what happens if you were born far earlier than anyone my age or younger.
Sure.
The amount you could pay for your rent, you could actually own something, and like at the end of paying it for so long, you just wouldn't. So,
I wanted to know. I have a little bit of money. Any bad ideas? Any bad ideas that I should spend my tax money on? I want your worst idea. Spitball it. Worst idea.
I'll give you it, but I need to say this joke because I thought of it right after I said it. I'm gonna go back. I should go back and edit this. Homeowner, it's like Klarna, but for houses. Afterpay, whatever they are. Okay, yeah. How should you spend your tax return, dude? I'm so glad you came to me with this question. I think everyone at home is thinking this as well. Donate it to the church, all of it.
Okay, I'm throwing out a real. You just got me cooking. I'm throwing out one that I kind of saw recently. I was watching a thing on Utah and Salt Lake City and the Mormons who like run that whole thing. Dude, they own like half the city and they pay no taxes on it. How does that work? How does that work? They literally like built up a whole shopping district, which is all like, like H&M, like they're normal stores, but it's all owned by the church. And I'm like, how does this make sense? How don't they pay taxes? The local, like, the beachfront property in Rhode Island is all owned by this giant college. They don't pay taxes. That's all. None of it makes sense to me. How don't you pay property taxes?
Dude,
I don't understand.
What do they know that we don't?
Maybe we got to you and I start a church.
Dude, I was actually just thinking this. Hold on.
Let them cook.
You know that giant mega church in like Texas?
There's a few of them, but yes.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't specific enough. I know of one from when there was like the flooding in Texas, and the mega church was like, "No, we won't let people stay here." And it's like, what? We should make a video on megachurches and then go visit like some giant Texas megachurch.
Dude, one of them, I don't know which megachurch, but one of them had a sermon in TD Garden. And I was like, what do you mean?
Dude, what?
What? Like they have them in like some of the most massive stadiums, these sermons and stuff. And, as you can tell by both of us talking about this, neither of us are very religious, but I don't get it. I feel like, I don't know. Maybe this is a hot topic, but I just feel like there's something going on there with these mega church pastors can own a private jet. Not fly in a private jet, but own a private jet. Like there's something going on there where I'm like, I don't know if this is the most ethical use of money. Like you're telling everyone to tithe 10% of their income and then you're buying a private jet. I don't know.
Can we please become megachurch pastors?
Dude,
please.
The type, I got the charisma. Get me up there. Get me up
there.
Yeah,
and then like anytime you do something wrong, they're just like, God told me to.
And then they like cheat on their wife, and it's like that's one of the things you're not supposed to do. And they're like. They're like, Satan sent her my way. And then everyone like shuns the girl like she was in the wrong. I'm like, what are we doing here?
They're like, look, my best friend's wife, she's Satan. She possessed me all night long in that Motel 6.
She came slithering like a snake. I'm like, what are we doing?
Dude,
out of everything we got
crazy.
canceled for, it's for us bagging on the church for being tax exempt.
Dude, if that's the way I go down, if all the stupid jokes I make don't take me down, and it's me having actual like reasonable critical commentary on mega churches and tax exemptions, That's a good way to go.
If they're tax exempt, I should be tax exempt. Come on. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure
tax exemption is it's a mindset.
You know what? And then also billionaires are kind of tax exempt with how they work around the freaking tax loopholes. So it just feels like the average guy, the average person paying rent and clawing their burrito from Chipotle just can't get ahead. They just can't get ahead.
Did you hear about the DoorDash adding paying for?
So
what the hell
up.
is that?
Dude,
what the hell is that?
The future is apocalyptic. If you need to DoorDash okay, I got Jamie. So I'm gonna throw something out there. I have certain rules in life. Okay, very few exceptions. One of them is I will not DoorDash food. I will not DoorDash. I will not ship me food. It's just something that I have made a rule for myself, except on vacation. Vacations are different entirely. We don't count those. That's separate time. I will not DoorDash
to my door.
Yeah, I will. This house will never get a DoorDash or a delivery unless it's pizza delivery, which is no charge. Because I think I'm gonna throw this one out there. Maybe I'm going a little too high here. I feel like people overestimate the value of their time. If you are on the weekend and you can get in your car and drive 10 minutes to McDonald's, just do it. Don't spend $30 to get yourself DoorDashed a Big Mac meal. Your time isn't worth that $30. That's multiple hours of work for some people. Just get up. And then if you need a DoorDash and then Klarna the DoorDash, dude, you're digging yourself a hole you ain't getting out of.
Dude, we're really doing the Big Short for a McRib. It's bad. We're in a bad timeline, Noah.
It's just people overestimate their value. At some point, it's just get in the car, go for the drive, man, or make yourself food. I also have made it where I don't know. I'm not trying to save money, but I very rarely do fast food at this point. I do it maybe once a month, maybe twice a month. Yesterday I did get Taco Bell, so you know what? I guess that is my once this month. But
I also did get Taco Bell recently.
Oh, did you? So good.
I don't get fast food a lot either. It was 11 o'clock. Realized I had nothing at home. Pit stop. Had to take the pit stop. So good.
But I don't know. Just thinking that that you're so desperate that you need to pay someone to bring that to your doorstep. Probably someone that's underpaid anyways for driving around, and they don't even make a minimum after paying gas. It just feels like there's a lot of. I feel like it's a very dystopian future, the way that people are living right now. I think everyone thinks that everything kind of needs to be brought to them. And it just feels I don't know, get up. Your time's not that valuable. Go drive to the McDonald's. Go wait in the line. Save the money.
It's also so nice to get out of the house sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I feel so good when I go out for a drive. I don't know what it is. It's crazy. It's something about not, blocking myself off from society. It makes me feel so good. I don't know what it is. It's kind of weird.
Every single day I do a walk. I think I've said this a few times. And that walk saves me. I work remote, and that walk brings me life. Just even in the rain. I'll walk in the rain. It's just getting out of the house and getting this office that I'm in right now might look like a backdrop. It's not. Dude, I never leave it. I'm in it 12 hours a day. And I'm I gotta get out of the house sometimes.
This shit's hard, all right? This is what we do for y'all. Look, I will say this. I have DoorDashed food a fair amount, but there's two things I want to put. When I've lived in the United States, I have almost never. I'm same philosophy as you. I don't do a lot of DoorDash or any Uber Eats. Sometimes I'll do not even. I'm a big pick it up guy because I'm honestly, I'm just cheap. I'm I don't want to pay the tip.
That's
I'll go get it.
I feel. I don't want to pay the $10 delivery fee. It's just.
I will do it sometimes though. Oftentimes I'll do it for pickup, because I like having venture capitalists pay for my lunch. They do a bunch of introductory deals, and the pace at which I use the apps is basically just enough for me to get a comeback offer, and then I fall off and I get a comeback offer. And so I'll use it every 4, it's less so now, but in years past, it was every 3-4 months, I'd get I'd get like a $5, like, it'd be like 3 sandwiches from Panera. I'm like, this is a great deal. I did use DoorDash a fair bit when I was living in France.
But the language barrier, that was like
It was partially that. It was also just partially like the area I lived in, stuff closed really like quick. Like the grocery store would close. I don't know. Like I'm a later person. The grocery store like would close at like between 6 and 8 p.m. And it was like I'd have to like that would be I walk 2 blocks to get to it versus like the second nearest one was like probably like 2 miles away. So it was like a 30-minute walk. And it's like, all right, if it's 7:30, I'm trying to make dinner. Like I don't know. I have no clue. And I have to go to some random grocery store and cities are weird, man. It's not the same in every grocery store. It's not like the burbs.
Yeah. I think my one other thing, and I spent a lot of time blaming the consumer. The U.S. is probably, I don't know about France and other ones, but the U.S. is freaking terrible with infrastructure. Nothing's walkable. Like, so I think that's my one excuse. Some people don't have cars.
I love talking about this shit.
I would want nothing more than a walkable city. They do not exist. Yeah. Dude, I live on like a main road. Like if I wanted to go, if I didn't have a car or, some people are anxious about driving, gas is also expensive. It'd be nearly impossible for me to get food. I don't, the U.S. is terrible for infrastructure. Like roads, they're okay. But like, actually like living in like the cities and stuff, they're terrible. Like Boston,
you are speaking
terrible.
My language.
New York,
awful.
Terrible.
Awful. Disgusting, full of rats.
Just
free Luigi. That's my official take on walkable cities. Free Luigi.
It just feels like, I don't know. I just feel like there's better ways to build it. How, was it big difference going to Paris? Did you notice a big difference in how the cities, because you obviously went all over Europe, did you notice a difference of like how people got around genuinely? Or am I just kind of hyping it up in my head?
To be fair, I was in like a major city and I did not get a lot of experience outside of any major city. I did a little bit. Probably the smallest place I went was like Galway, Ireland, which is like probably the second biggest city in Ireland,
behind like Dublin.
Yeah, it's like right around there, but it's still not big. Even then, like there was a lot of cars there, but there's also like an all right bus network. I used like buses and everything everywhere I went there. It's good because everything there was developed when they were like, we have horses, so like New England's mediocre for this stuff because like some of our old places were designed for horses, but like you go to like anywhere West Coast, like that shit was made for a Ford F-150.
I went to a while ago. I went to what Canadian city is above us? Quebec. What's the?
Or
Montreal. Yeah. Montreal. I went to Montreal. Is that not above us? Am I making this up?
I gotta look this up. We're also pronouncing, I don't know, I always get it wrong. I think it's Quebec. It's a weird...
Okay, I think I went to Montreal. But so beautiful, so walkable. It was also the spring. I imagine during the winter, that's probably not very walkable, probably cold as crap. But
yeah, you probably went to Montreal.
I went there like in the summer or in the spring. Dude, I was there for like 2 weeks. Something about that like space there, maybe it was just my location. We stayed in like a pretty bougie Airbnb just because it was like me and the boys, and we're like, we gotta be near the clubs. So we're like all of us were like graduating college. We're like, we gotta stay somewhere nice, and we stayed in a pretty nice Airbnb, just like centrally located. Dude, I walked so much, never like everything was right there. It was just awesome. It was awesome being able to be like, do I want to go somewhere? Yeah, let me just put on my shoes and walk out the door and just do. And I parked the car in a garage. I didn't grab it once. And we went to restaurants. We went to like the historic district. We went to like actually big churches because they're just beautiful. They have some huge
mega church.
Yeah, not mega churches because I feel like those look like I feel like those look like apartment buildings. Like it's just like those aren't pretty.
Yeah, it's like they have sponsors, these mega churches. It's like the crypto.com mega church.
Or you look at it and they got like banners up like it's a little league field. And it's like the local like construction company. And they got a big poster across the back wall.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. It was beautiful. And it was just so convenient to be able to walk. I don't think there's walkable. I can't think of what would be a walkable city in the U.S. I don't even think they exist. Have any of them actually tried it? Like,
there's places that
maybe like into certain neighborhoods.
Dude, we should reach out to like someone who makes these like kind of videos, because there's people out there. I watch a lot of them, but they're like actually successful.
Should I get a civil engineer in here? I got a couple of them. I actually know. I have.
Do you
two,
really?
I know two of them, and they're both like our age. Yeah.
I would love a civil engineer to come on the podcast. It would be the worst podcast we ever do. And just talk walkable cities for 60.
I wonder. I bet if
you
look
2 hours, it'll be a double.
I bet it's impossible to make a walkable city, because they're like, every building needs 80 parking spots per 100 square feet. Some bullshit like that.
Yeah, you'd have to change so many zoning laws. It'd be stupid as hell.
Well, that's like the same problem with like, housing. You can't like you can't pop up an in-law, because then you need special zoning for the second address, and it's all these crazy things. And they're like, we only want single family homes here. And it's like, you need a single family home on 8 acres. That's how we need every single family home. I don't know.
It's like, we're a mile out of the capital. We need you need 8 Mile. This sucks. That's basically the vibe of the podcast. Shit sucks.
U.S. impossible. I guess other countries are worse right now. Canada's much worse than we are infrastructure-wise, but then you go to Europe and houses are like $10 because everyone's leaving it. I don't know. Depends where you're looking.
Yeah, I don't know. But what I do know is that we probably should get to some of these questions, because we found some problems we cannot fix. But
not right now. But when we get a civil engineer on a future episode,
yeah. Walkable cities will be fixed next episode.
Let's go.
Maybe.
Let's go.
And Noah, dude, where are people writing this into? I can't even remember.
I think they're writing it into ProfessionalInternsPodcast at gmail.com. That's it.
ProfessionalInternsPodcast at gmail.com. Yep.
Write them in, and then we will give you mediocre advice. For the first question we got, this is the first time I'm dealing with a bad client. Hi, interns. I recently ended a contract with a client early because it was causing so much emotional and physical stress, because the work ended up being much more than I expected. I let them know that I was not a good fit for their needs. Here's where I might have messed up. I responded to a job networking thread about sharing bad experiences at work. I shared a short sentence about mine. Example, meetings with the client to only come out with 25% of items completed, the client never being happy with my work, and micromanaging. I guess a previous coworker shared that with the client, and the client messaged me with the screenshot saying, "Be careful of what you say." And I just responded with "noted." This happened to be my first comment in years on this website, and of course, it had to come back to somebody else. This might not have been very professional, but I think I'm also just very done, a little embarrassed, and exhausted because of that client. This is my first time experiencing such a bad client. How would you have responded or have done?
Is your Reddit username just like your real name? How did they track that down to you?
Yeah.
I assume you're talking about Reddit. It sounds like you're talking about Reddit.
Sounds like Reddit, but how did they track you down? I do think it's wild to reply "noted." It's kind of a mic drop moment, actually.
I kind of I respect you kind of owning it so hard. Like, look, I think the really cool thing is that you already like broke things off with them. Like, the real advice we were gonna have to give was like, not every client's gonna be a winner. Like, it's not always gonna be a good fit. Sometimes it's better to like cut your losses. Like, there's a philosophy. It's like 80% of the work, or 80% of the problems comes from 20% of the people. That's just the deal you're having there. So yeah, I would have told you to drop them. But now we just get to say stupid answers the whole time, which is so awesome. Thank you so much for letting us do that.
Do you remember any bad clients we might have worked with in the past? I got one in mind. So we had one where we did this whole project of like, you know, showing them like it was like a big marketing project to like presenting like what we would do, and I feel like they weren't sold the project. Like it was almost like they expected marketing when we sold them a research project, and it ended up blowing up in our face. Jamie was on the call, but it ended up blowing up in our face, and I was like, who sold them? What did you tell them that was sold? And I think this is a constant problem where people usually that the salespeople don't know the product. Like it's not followed through. Like the salespeople sell a dream, and then you have to deliver the product. And these don't always match up.
They're like talking to you all inspirationally on the sales call, and then the next week you show up and it's me and Noah. Honestly, it was pretty much just like this. Like they just hopped on a Zoom call and we're like, hey, we made a slideshow for you guys. You want to check it out? It was like we were doing a school presentation every week for like 2 months.
Yeah, and then they just didn't get it. And then we're like, this is what we were told to do. What did you tell them we would do? And it was a terrible experience, almost embarrassing at times, because we're like, what? Like we're leaving the call like, all right, that went bad. Let's go back to our desks.
Yeah. I'm leaving the call like sweating through my shirt.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, they hate us. Like,
yeah.
And we weren't in a leadership position to like make a change to like curtail that project in a way that they would want. So
I was immediately out of college. I was like 22 and like green as hell. Yeah. So I think you did what you were supposed to do in cutting this person off.
100%.
Because that is just what's going to happen. And I think the real advice we should give you is like get a burner account on whatever website, probably Reddit, but whatever site you're posting bad about your clients on. You think Noah and I made memes about disliking our clients.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, like talking shit's part of the game. It's the best part of the job.
If it's a marketing job, that's half marketing. Oh, okay.
All right. Noah said an oopsie doopsie, and then I said Noah's oopsie doopsie.
Again, yeah.
So that's why the podcast is weird.
So I had a client in the past, and when you start working with like people with a lot of money, they start getting a little weird, okay? They start getting a little, out there. You meet some interesting people. This one client, he always travels with his 2 dogs, okay? Very wealthy individual. And he travels with 2 large German Shepherds. And I remember talking to my boss at that time, and he was like, you're going to go to the restaurant. You're going to be cool. Everything's going to be good. Don't worry about it. He's going to have his 2 dogs. It's fine. And I was like, okay. And kind of like very confused by the situation. Pull up. Dude rented out the whole restaurant so he could bring his 2 dogs in with him. And he invited like all of his friends and stuff. But it's like, a fancy sit-down restaurant. And he bought the whole restaurant for the night just so his 2 German Shepherds could sit by his side while he's talking to us. And it's clearly like he's clearly doing it for show. Like he's like being like, I can do this. Like it's almost like a dick waving competition. And we're just like, let him do what he wants, but he's like, I'm renting out the whole restaurant tonight at like a very fancy place. Everyone's in like, ties, and he's like renting out the whole thing, and I'm bringing my German Shepherds, and the wait staff is just like, yep, he's coming. We're going to let him go. And I was like, dude, this cannot be like the normal experience for this guy.
Not only does this sound like it's literally out of like a sitcom, it literally is out of a sitcom. This is like
is it?
The woman boss from The Office, where she has like the 2 Great Danes.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this is insanity.
I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. No, this is how that guy travels. And he's
Life imitates art.
He literally travels with his 2 German Shepherds. And when we join calls, sometimes he'd have the German Shepherds like in his office. And I'm like, they seem like nice dogs, but I'm just like, traveling with 2 huge dogs like that cannot be an easy experience.
Dude, those dogs are closer to owning a house than I am. Dude, what a life.
Owns a few houses. I bet those dogs have their own house. They got a dog house. That's what they...
Life is not fair. That's our advice. Life is not fair. And cities will never be walkable.
Jamie, you ready for that next one?
Yeah, no, we'll do the next one. I think just to summarize that whole thing, yeah, you did good. I would have done exactly what you did. I probably wouldn't have said noted, unless it was like very easily pinnable to me. I might have gassed at them and been like, "What are you talking about?"
What they must have said the client's name or something. I'm so confused. And then why would you dox yourself like that? You can't say the client's name; they would find you. I don't know.
But I don't know. But yeah, we'll do the next one now. All right, our next question: yapping because I am anonymous. Hi, interns. I just want to make a note that they didn't actually say that, which was pretty rude of you. So not even agreeing. They just went right into it. I recently started watching your guys' podcast, and I already watched a few of Jamie's videos as you compared to Danny Gonzalez, Film Cooper, Jarvis Johnson, and Curtis Connor. That's what I'm going for.
Wow, putting you on a pedestal.
That's a great list.
Yeah.
My mom keeps saying I have sensitivity issues, which could be true, but there is absolutely no reason, they said that in all caps, for me to censor my words for a few losers who can't handle the truth. All right, I think if you're talking about us, keep in mind who emailed who here. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned the fact that I haven't watched the other guy. Noah, I think. That's tough. That's it. It's a tough one.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's Jamie and the Other Guy podcast.
That's fine. That's fine.
But who genuinely cares? Because I know you guys are old enough to not cry like babies.
I respect it.
There's a kid I know named Luke, and he's so annoying. One of my brother's friends threatened to punch him because he was insulting us. I know his friend has a crush on me, but I choose to ignore it forever. I know Lil Bro likes me, but I also want to be a man super bad, and I want to be trans, but I'm always doubting myself. Like, what if I come out and say I'm a guy, but suddenly I realize I don't want to be one and back out? I'm already out as bi, but this is different. I'm kind of venting, though. Anyways, love your guys' content, and I don't know how you guys aren't more famous. Well, we're not more famous because listen to this advice. It's going to be bad.
Oh, I thought it's because we missed 2 weeks of the podcast in like a month.
Oh, that too. Yeah, we just work so hard. It's so hard to be famous. This is crazy. But I'm super glad you emailed us because I think the best people to ask for this are two straight white cis guys. So
yeah, we know all about the LGBTQIA plus.
There we go. Hey, I got the whole acronym. Hell yeah.
I got through it.
Wow, this is actually, you know what?
Honestly,
if you want to be a man, then yeah, asking two dumbasses like us is probably the best call. I mean, okay, we got to give you real advice before we give you bad advice.
We do.
Okay, we got to do our due diligence. It comes with a job. I mean, like, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because I've never had this urge to be like, oh, I was born a man. I've never been like, oh, I want to be a woman or like considered it. I mean, like, at the end of the day, to me, I'm like, do what you want to do. It makes you happy. I don't care. So it's like if you were just like, hey, I'm a man. But it sounds like you're younger, and so this like I imagine you're in like high school. Like maybe even young high school. This is like a friend from the neighborhood type deal. You also didn't do a great job explaining the whole web of people. We've got Luke. Does Luke matter? Is it Luke? Is Luke the one who likes you, or is it Luke's friend? Who likes who?
I feel like I don't know. If you feel like you might be a man, I don't see why not try it out. Like nothing's stopping you, and I don't think people who are going to judge you for being trans are going to judge you whether you transition or don't transition. I don't see why not try and start it out, like try and be maybe a little more androgynous and see how you feel. And I don't think that's like something wrong. People discover, their sexualities, their gender, all these things like all the time. There's nothing wrong with you testing the waters and seeing if you're more comfortable that way.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, if you're like, right now, like, oh, I'm afraid that maybe I'll change my mind. Well, then like, maybe don't do any of like the more permanent actions, like surgeries or like hormone replacement therapies, like things of that nature. Like, but like, you know, you can buy what's a pair of shoes you can buy a pair of Air Force Ones. You know, you can get what else do we guys? You can
buy a pair of Air Force Ones in a pickup truck, and we won't.
Yeah, I think.
What's a guy thing?
Yeah,
so you're also speaking to two very feminine guys. I don't know. It's a tough one.
I drive a hybrid.
My Civic's never seemed so bad.
My Civic's never seen the off-roads. Oh man. Okay, well look, I think what advice do we have to give? You came to such bad people.
Dude, no,
look.
I think my idea is good. I think you could try and start being a little more androgynous. There's nothing wrong with that. And if they're going to judge you, they're going to judge you. Like it's totally worth it if it helps self-discovery, if it makes you feel better. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what this guy having a crush on you has to do with this, but probably
I think it's a very awkward spot to navigate of like you have to let somebody down that you're like and be like, oh, I'm not interested in you. But it's not only like, am I not interested in you? Like you don't even know who I really feel like I am. Like I feel like it's
a tough one.
It's kind of like you're secretly like a Hannah Montana situation. Is being trans like being Hannah Montana? People are gonna be like, "This is so radically insensitive." I'm like, I was trying my best.
I don't know. I feel like just.
No, I think we're doing all right.
I feel like you go with self-discovery. There's nothing wrong with that, and I feel like maybe just. While you're going through this, maybe dating's not the best idea if you think that things could change. Or maybe you date anyways. It's your life. Nobody else has any control over it. You could do whatever you want. And whatever makes you feel most comfortable. Maybe testing the waters might help you with self-discovery. There's nothing wrong with that. Like,
yeah. Yeah, and, before we get to the bad advice...
oh, you mean your advice wasn't the bad advice? I thought.
Oh, buddy, I got worse advice in the tank. but like, look, like, like this feels like a very big thing because it's a very big core piece of your identity. But like, everybody tries things that they think is new. Like, I've talked about it a billion times, even this episode. Like, I moved to France for a year. I thought that I was like. And I talked about it like it was going to be a more permanent, like, I didn't think I was going to live there forever, but I did genuinely think, like, hey, this might be, like, 5-10 years of my life. And then, I came back for Christmas 4 months later, and I was like, oh, I don't like it, but, I'll be back in, 6 months, 10 months, however long. So it's like everybody has their version of things like this where they're like, I think I want this thing, I'm going to try it out. And especially at like a younger age. And so this for you is just like your like gender identity. Now, the real good advice, Noah.
I'm not giving bad advice for this one.
We have to give them some advice on things they can do to be a man. First off, first thing you gotta do, like this is, look, if you're gonna test it out, here's what you got to do. First thing, go to the grocery store. You need a 3-in-1 body wash, shampoo, conditioner, okay?
Respect it.
You throw out, I don't know, maybe you're already on the 3. If you already have the 3-in-1, I hate to break it to you, you're a man. If you got Irish Spring anything in that shower, you're a man. Dude, what would the world do without us?
Just found out my girlfriend is my 4th cousin. Dear interns, my girlfriend and I thought of getting a DNA test because we thought it would be interesting. She's Latina, I'm Filipino, and we both live in the Bay Area. Anyways, we spat on the test tube, mixed the fluid, and dropped it in the mail. We got our results after 5 weeks, and we both shocked to find out that we shared 84 cm of DNA. Now I'm really scared because what if we get into a random family reunion and my girlfriend just so happens to be there? What if I pull up to the family reunion and she's there? Any advice?
All right, look. You made me do some research about this one because you said you share 84 cm of DNA, and I don't know what that is. I thought it was centimeters, to be quite honest. Spoiler alert, it's not. Apparently, they don't measure DNA in centimeters. So, that's a little tough. It's centimorgans, which I know even less about. But I did look it up, and it said cm to percent is like you divide it by 70. So, basically, you and your girlfriend are 1.2% family. So, I think you're good.
Are you?
I think. How much? This is the real question here. Like, hey, well, actually, you're probably going to pull up to the family reunion and she's going to be there, like, because you should bring her, all right? Get serious about your relationship real quick. But how much DNA is too much DNA? You know what I mean?
I couldn't tell you in the slightest, but fourth cousins,
How much? I'm searching this up right now.
I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, okay. How much DNA do fourth cousins share?
There's only a risk of birth problems at 4 to 6%. So
Wow.
They're in the clear. It says that it could happen at 2 to 3, but there's only a real risk at 4 to 6. So technically speaking, they're in the clear. Is still a little weird to say you're dating your cousin. I don't mean a little weird. It's really weird to say you're dating a cousin.
It's way closer than I expected it. I thought you run into problems in like
50?
10 to, I thought it was be like 20%.
I knew it was low, but I don't know. That feels
Dude, maybe I underplayed it. You're fucked.
At that point, what do you do? Do you just break up? What's the correct answer?
Look, I think
you're sleeping with your cousin. You kind of can't be doing that.
All right, you have a few options. Sorry, I had to process a lot of this information really quickly so I could become a subject matter expert on it. Look, you got to figure out real quick how valuable this relationship is to you. Because if you're just like, this chick's all right, maybe I'd cut it off. If I found out my partner was my cousin, it'd be a little tough. Alternatively, if you're like, hey, we're gonna ride this one out, move to Alabama.
I was gonna say down south, you'd be normal.
You'd actually be the weird one for not having more.
You'd be the weird one for being fourth and not second cousin.
Yeah.
It's kind
of actually down south. It'd be a little weird that you're hooking up with a stranger. Me, I prefer someone I'm more comfortable with.
Yeah, usually I actually meet my girlfriends at the family reunion. You might just happen to run into your girlfriend at a family reunion. Yeah. You're working backwards. You're working backwards. You're bringing your fourth cousin to the reunion. I meet them at the reunion.
You got your priorities all wrong, bucko. All wrong. All out of whack.
Yeah, so our advice, I don't know, maybe break up. It feels like, or you could, I feel like you could, slowly ride it out. But I think having this in the back of your mind, it's probably going to bring up a fight. I don't know. Maybe it'll just end up ending that way anyways. You said girlfriend. You're not even engaged. I don't know. I feel like if that was me, I'd probably just get out of the relationship if I'm being honest. But maybe I'm cynical.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get over it, then I think just get over it. Because I think, as we've now deducted, us subject matter experts, it's not going to cause any health problems. It is a little strange, but How do you not know? How far on the... I'm going to get back to you. Listen next episode because I'm going to break out the whiteboard. I'm going to draw this one up and see what I think about it. Because I think if I could visualize how many branches on that tree, then I would let you know how much more comfortable I am.
Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know. I'd probably, I don't know. The health repercussions are minimal, but it just feels a little weird. Or, you know what you could do? Just not tell people she's your cousin. You don't need to write into us to tell someone they're your cousin. You just never mention it. It's not going to come up in DNA. Like, nobody's looking at your DNA report and they're like, it's a little close. Like,
it's a little... Ooh. Jim Bob and his new thing. They look a little similar over there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't tell people about it. But, good luck with that one. All right, you know what? I got one more we're going to use to close out the episode. It's probably the most serious one of the episode, so maybe none of your jokes about it. Okay, this person's really coming to us for help. I ate too much rice and now my tummy hurt. Hi, interns. I ate so much rice and feel quite sick. I need to rest. What should I do?
And your tummy hurt. You ate too much rice and your tummy hurt.
Too much rice.
Too much rice and your tummy hurt.
Do you know how if you put a phone in rice, it'll like suck out the water?
You think it's sucking out their insides? Just go. You're low on blood now. You see what you did? This is the.
Well, what if you ate a phone? Because then the phone would suck up the rice. You put a rice in phone?
What if you ate a bunch of phones?
Have you considered eating a few phones?
I have a feeling it could work with like smaller things, like I don't know, maybe like an iPod Nano. Just a little quick slide one of those down.
Or hey, maybe just a few batteries, a little AA, AAA action. But yeah, so eat a few batteries. I think that's probably our main thing. And Noah did share with me a little graphic here of how close these people are. So we're going back to the old question, all right? I know everyone was wondering. All right. So it's like great-grandparents, and then it breaks off a level, and then it breaks off another level. And
it's your third great-grandparent. So it'd be your grandparents' great-grandparent. That's what it would be. So it's your grandparents' great-grandparent had a kid that had a kid that had a kid that had a kid that had your cousin.
Look, if everyone there had a kid on average when they were 30, that's like 150 years. All right?
Yeah.
Are you going to forego a little bit of action? Because 150 years ago, your grandparents got together? Come on, what are we doing there?
Yeah, too much rice and tummy hurt. Eat a few phones.
Eat a few
sleep
phones.
With your fourth cousin.
Sleep with your fourth cousin and buy a truck.
And 3-in-1 shampoo.
All right, guys. All right, Noah, take us home.
Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of watching to another episode of the Professional Interns. If you guys want to go see some of our more personal stuff, Jamie's got a channel where he reviews bad movies right now. Eventually, maybe he'll switch back into something else, but he's been reviewing a lot of good bad movies. And that's over at Jamie Regan on YouTube. And you can go check out my content over at Big Blue Bug Gaming. Jamie, we got anything else?
No, I think you pretty much touched it. Leave a review on the podcast. I think that helps us. Write in. We love getting your questions. It's very funny when we can help you with very serious advice in the worst possible way. And that's ProfessionalInternsPodcast at gmail.com. Okay. I love ya. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.